What's up guys, I'm the Viking, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, and you joined me still very ill. I didn't put out a video last week because I was just too sick, couldn't do it, couldn't face it, sorry. I have literally been back and to the toilet 17, 18, 19 times a day for the last week. I'm not well. But stuff has arrived in the mail. I'm gonna open it, and some of it's to do with Project Outlaw and some of it's not. Oh, it's going to be a bad video. So this has come in the mail. It is a fire poi. It's for doing the video photographer thing. You dip your wick, soak this in paraffin, you light it, and it spins. Oh shit! And you spin it around, and it makes fire. And if you're really good at it, you can do like really cool, like weird swingy patterns. That's not what I've got them for. I've got them for doing long exposure photography with fire, and I'll be doing very basic stuff with them, but apparently they've got a 10-minute burn on them when you fully soak them, so that's alright. And I'll only be using them one at a time, and they were 20 quid for two of them, so you never know, that might work, that might be good, that might be okay. Who knows? I don't. Oh god, what is this video? I've also got this. This is a Stanley knife. No it's not, it's a scalpel. What am I talking about? God, this video's a mess. I've also got this. It's a scalpel because I have got work to do on Project Outlaw over the winter. What's that? Project Outlaw isn't finished. Well, technically no. Shock horror! So no, technically speaking, Project Outlaw isn't actually done. There's a few things on it that I've never really liked. You see, Project Outlaw was the first big project bike I've ever done. I've done smaller engine bikes and got them working-ish, but I've never done anything quite this ambitious before. It's my first, big bike. And one of the things I've never been happy with is the tank. See, with the Viragos, they have two tanks. They've got the main tank that you see on the bike, and then there's one under the seat as well. And the one on top is tiny and weirdly shaped and not very cool looking. And the graphics that I did for it don't show up very well on the sides, and the one on the top of the tank is on the squiff. Because I had to put it on the squiff because of the positioning of the fuel filler. Because the fuel filler is off center on it. Because, that's a good idea. I kind of had two options. I could either take the tank that I spent all that time doing off the bike, strip it all down, repaint it, try and make it work, or I could buy a different tank and take my time, and if it takes me ages to finish designing and painting properly and sorting out, it didn't matter because there's already a tank on the bike. So I did that, but then I got thinking, I've never liked the shape of the tank, and I don't like how small the tank is on the Viragos because they're actually a weird shape, as you can see in the previous videos, and that's because the air filter is like inbuilt into the frame on them. They're weird. So I got scouting around on the internet, and I found a guy on eBay who has these custom-made tanks that look more like what you get on an Iron 883. And they were about 170 quid. What I didn't read, because it was in the small print, was all of the shipping and customs fees that I had to pay. So it's actually cost me more like 250 quid. But I think it looks a lot better than what came with it. So I got a new tank for the bike, but now I've got to paint it. It's going to give it much more of a bobber feel than the sort of chopper feel that it is currently, but I'm okay with that. And it's got a bigger fuel capacity in it because it's taller and slightly longer than the tank that's on it. So all in all, in theory, I should also get more range, which is good. But I need to test fit it on the bike, but it's too cold because it's -6 outside at the minute. It comes with this screw-in cap, but I really don't like that design. So I'm probably going to have to find something else. Overall, for the money, it doesn't look half bad. The welds aren't great, but you can't win them all. What are you rattling? Why? Oh, and there's a dent in it from shipping, so I'll have to try and get that out. as well. But overall, you know, shit happens, doesn't it? So now I've got to design a new fuel tank, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. I definitely want to do something with these big flat sides that are on it. I think something there would look cool. Definitely going to put something on the flat side there. Needs a bit of neatening up here and there and smoothing off in places before I paint it, but overall it looks pretty good. But you see, that got me thinking about all the different stuff that I've done on Project Outlaw and everything I want to do over the winter. So if we take a picture of Project Outlaw, what I've done to it so far, we'll start at the front and we'll work our way back. So new front suspension, fully rebuilt that, fixed all the rust on the front mudguard, made custom brackets and custom mounts for the fairing, not shown in the photos, but I've also put on a custom light bar and a new headlight. It's had the top and bottom yokes completely stripped and rebuilt, all the bearings have been re-greased. It's had a full front end rewire. It's had new risers, it's had new handlebars, it's had new switches, it's had new grips, it's had new bar ends, it's had a full tank fix, smooth and repaint. It's had new gaskets and seals all across the engine, new foot pegs, the gear selector has been cleaned and fixed, customised side pods, custom seat, the rear mudguard's been completely smoothed over. It's had the number plate relocated from a side mount when I got it back onto the rear of the bike where it's supposed to be. It's also got a full straight pipe exhaust system from Black Widow exhaust that's been wrapped in order to retain heat into the pipe and not transfer it onto my legs too much while I'm riding. The rear suspension has been stripped, cleaned and rebuilt, and overall it's been given a neaten and a tidy up from the ground up. So I've actually done a lot to it, but what else needs doing? Well, obviously I've got the new tank, so that's job number one, is prepping and sorting that. Job number two is I want to look into getting new rear suspension, as the one that's on it work, but it ain't great. Although I've cleaned as much of the rust off of them as I can and repainted and everything, it's still bubbling through, which means that sooner rather than later it's going to need to be replaced anyway, so I'm going to look into some better suspension for that over the next few months. I want to get the seat recovered over the winter while I'm not riding. Whether I do that myself or whether I send it off to someone to do, I don't know yet. I'm not brilliant with stitching and leather work. We'll see, maybe I'll do it myself, maybe I won't. I want to neaten up the front end again, so I want to take everything off and figure out actual good looking brackets for the fairing, because at the moment they're just universal brackets that I've cut down to size and they don't look very good. So maybe I'll make some custom brackets for that. I just wanted to get it back on the road, otherwise I'd have missed the entire 2019 riding season. And I also want to lengthen some cabling and neaten that up so it's not just dangling down from underneath the headlight. I then want to give the bike a complete clean, and I'm possibly going to rewrap the pipes, because at the front they're starting to lose some of their colour and starting to bleach out white, which is my own fault. I didn't pay out very much for the wrap this time round because I just wanted to get it back on the road, and I'm paying for it by the colour bleaching out. It happens with cheap wrap. There's also some touch-up paint on the engine that I want to do. I need to re-lubricate and clean everything before I take it out for its first ride next year, so that'll be later on down the line. But I think for the most part at the minute it's going to be getting this tank sorted. A lot done, a lot to do, but it's winter so I can't ride. I mean, it was -4 coming home last night, which is very cold. As always guys, if you're liking what you see, make sure you like and subscribe. I know the last couple of weeks have been kind of boring, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get out and do some filming and take the drone out and get some cool winter wonderlandy type pictures for the old Instagram. Links to that down below. And as you've made it to the end of the video, I'm going to give you 70 awesome points today. But for now, I've been the Viking. As always, you have been awesome, and I will see you next time.